What's going on, everybody? This is Cody, the home theater hobbyist, and today I have my full review of the 12-inch front-firing subwoofer from SVS. This is the SB-1000, and in this video I'm going to talk about the overall design, give you some audio samples, and also talk about my impressions of sound quality. So let's get to it. The SB-1000 is a 12-inch front-firing sealed subwoofer, which means it does not have a port. The SB nomenclature stands for sealed box. It has a Sledge STA300D amplifier that outputs 300 watts of continuous power and 720 watts of peak power. The 1000's frequency range is 24 Hz to 260 Hz. It's nearly a cube at 13.5 inches tall, 13 inches wide, and 14 inches deep, and it weighs 27 pounds. You can choose from 3 different surface finishes, which are black ash at $4.99, or you can choose gloss black or gloss white, which are $5.99. Before we get too far into this video, if you want to purchase the SB-1000, the PB-1000, the Prime Towers, or even the PB-16 Ultra, use those links in the description below. Also, if you enjoy product reviews, unboxings, talk about streaming media, and basically all things home theater, click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you can be alerted anytime we upload new content. So here it is, the SB-1000. This is a nice compact sealed subwoofer. It's nearly 13 inches in all diameter, so it's almost a perfect cube, but it's a little bit off in a couple places, as I mentioned in the specifications section. Now, I received this in the gloss black surface finish, and it looks fantastic. I love the way this surface finish looks. And up front, you can see you've got the cloth grille, and it covers the entire front face with the SVS logo down there at the bottom. To pull the grille off, you just give it a simple tug, just like that, and it comes off. It's actually held in with these pins on each one of the 4 corners, and they go into these little cups because it's a pin and cup design. You just press it in. Now, the grille itself is nice and rigid and firm. There's no issues there. It's nice and sturdy, so that's a definite plus. Now that the grille is off, you can see that the piano black surface finish is surrounding the big 12-inch subwoofer right there. And like I said, it's sealed, so there's no port, and the subwoofer takes up pretty much the whole front face. The SVS logo is in 4 corners all the way around the front in the rubber surround, and you have the SVS logo right there in the center on the dust cover. On the top left corner right here is a little LED light, and that is red when the subwoofer is off, and it is blue when it's on, and you can see the LED when the grille is covering it. But otherwise, this is a nice clean look, and I like it. Moving on to the rear, as you can see, it has the same gloss black surface finish all the way around with the connections and controls there in the center. Now, the SVS logo is right there, along with the serial number just under that, and that allows you to have a serial number if you need to call it in for warranty or service or something like that. Now, here are all the controls right here. You've got volume, phase, and also crossover adjustment. For the crossover, I typically leave it in LFE mode and allow my AV receiver to set the crossover, typically at 80 Hertz. Now, just below those controls is the auto on standby switch. I leave it in auto standby so that it automatically turns on when it receives a signal, but once it doesn't have a signal, it will turn off after a few minutes. So it's a nice power saving feature. Just below that is the trigger connection, so you can plug in a trigger wire, and this will turn on if it is sent, again, a signal, which is a nice little benefit. Just below that are line level connections, both out and in. You've got left and right. Obviously, if you're using a subwoofer cable from your AV receiver, you want to plug it into that LFE connection right there. But if you want to use dual connections, dual RCA cables, you can do that as well. And you can connect another subwoofer using the out connections just above it. Now, just below that are the speaker level connections, both left and right if you need those. And in the bottom left corner is the main power switch, and also the power cable connection right there. Finally, on the bottom of the subwoofer, again, you continue with the gloss black surface finish. It has it all the way around the speaker, as you can definitely tell, and it also has 4 feet, and those feet are coated in rubber, so it will protect your nice precious floors. But the good news is you can unscrew the feet, and I guess technically put on other feet if you want to, and they come off really easily just like that. Now that we've talked about design, let's move on and let's talk about sound quality. And one of the things I want to do is I'm going to rank the SB-1000 in a few different categories from 1 to 5. 1 being the absolute worst and 5 being the absolute best. But before I get to my rankings, I want to play a couple audio samples just so you can hear that the SB-1000 definitely makes sound. Now the first category I want to rank is design, and I give this a 4.5 out of 5. I really like this gloss black surface finish. It looks fantastic, but as with anything that is piano black or gloss black, you're going to have to keep gloves with you when you move it around. Otherwise you'll have fingerprints all over it, and I've been moving around with the gloves on. And you'll also, again, have to dust and stuff like that, but it looks so good with that gloss black surface finish, better than the black ash. The other thing I like about this is it is so small and compact. At 13 by 13.5 by 14 inches, it's nearly, 13.5 inches cubed or whatever. It's nice and compact. It's actually smaller than I thought it was going to be just looking at pictures on the website. And I know a lot of you are looking for smaller subwoofers because you live in a smaller apartment or you just don't want something overpowering your room. And with this, you get a 12-inch woofer in nearly a 12-inch package, which is kind of cool. Obviously 13 inches, but still, it's pretty close, right? And that is a definite plus. Now, one thing that I did find a little bit distracting, and this is super nitpicky, right? But I want to say I did find a little bit distracting, is this cloth grill with this surface finish. I think I like the grill on the PB-1000, or excuse me, on the black ash surface finish, I'll say it like that. But on the gloss finish, I just felt like it let the surface finish down a little bit, and that's a little weird to say, I know, but honestly I'd rock this with the grill off because it looks so good with the grill off. So I give it a 4.5 out of 5, mainly because the grill just doesn't look as good, but otherwise it's really nice and really compact. The next category I'm going to rank is features and controls, and I give the SB-1000 a 3 out of 5. It has all the basic connections that you need for a subwoofer, including volume, phase, crossover, line level, speaker level, basically everything that you need, which is a definite plus, but it doesn't come with all of the nice new features that SVS has in some of its higher end subwoofers like the PB-3000, the PB-16 Ultra series, or any of those. It doesn't have an app and you can make, fine tune adjustments and stuff like that, but it handles all the basics. And in this price range, that's basically what you're looking for. You want to be able to do the things you need to do because a subwoofer is pretty much set it and forget it, and it has that. So I give it a 3 out of 5. Now let's talk sound quality / enjoyment, and I give the SB-1000 a 4 out of 5. I set this up right next to my TV where subwoofers sound the best in this room, and I set the level at about 78 dB at my listening position because, again, that's where subwoofers really sound the best, in my opinion, in my room. And so then I played a lot of music and movies listening to this subwoofer. And the first thing I'll say is this will play down to about 20 hertz, an audible 20 hertz, but it really starts to come into its own at 25, 31, 40, and on up. So it basically follows the claims of SVS, 24 hertz to about 260 hertz. Now let's talk about music. I love listening to music on the SB-1000. The good news is when I had it set up at that 78 dB, it wasn't overwhelming music, but it also wasn't underwhelming music. It was playing right there at that right nice even level that I like to listen to my subwoofer, and it sounded nice and clean, nice and tight. There was obviously zero port noise because there's no port, and the bass was just right there, and it was stop and start on a dime, which is what you want from a subwoofer. Moving on to movies, the SB-1000 has the same tight, detailed presentation that you hear with music, but honestly, I was a little bit underwhelmed. So I turned the volume up just a little bit to give me a little bit more output, and it sounded better, but I still wasn't exactly thrilled with it, right? And I think that's because it just doesn't play as deep as, let's say, a ported subwoofer would play. I think it really shines in that mid-bass regime, let's say 40 hertz and up, whereas, 35 hertz and below, it just doesn't have as much there, and therefore it just wasn't as enjoyable when watching movies. And so for that reason, I give it a 4 out of 5. But honestly, when listening to music, I really enjoyed the SB-1000. Now let's talk about how the SB-1000 compares to another 12-inch front-firing subwoofer which I reviewed, the Q Acoustics Q B12. Now first and foremost, I no longer have the Q B12, I had to send that back, so I can't compare them directly, but I was able to take a look at my notes and kind of suss out what I was looking at and what I was listening to and compare it to the SB-1000. Now first and foremost, the SB-1000 is smaller than the Q B12, so if you're looking for the most compact 12-inch front-firing subwoofer that you can get between those two, you definitely should go SB-1000. Now let's talk music. Honestly, I prefer the SB-1000 a little bit more with music when compared to the Q B12, and I think that's because of really how it's tuned. I think the SB-1000 is tuned really well for music, and so music really comes through nice and clean, and it's just really enjoyable. Now moving on to movies, I like the Q B12 a little bit more than the SB-1000, and I think that's because the Q B12 is tuned a little bit more for deeper bass. I think this will play deeper than the Q B12, but again, it's tuned a little bit better for deeper bass, and so I found it to be a little bit more enjoyable when watching movies as compared to the SB-1000. So what's my final recommendation between the SB-1000 and the Q B12? Well, for music, I'd go SB-1000, but if you lean more towards movies, I'd probably go for the Q B12. Now let's talk value, and I give this a 4.5 out of 5. It's $4.99 for the black ash version and $5.99 for either one of the gloss versions, either black or white. Now you may be able to find this on sale every now and then on SVS's website because they do run sales. But let's be honest, you may be able to find a cheaper subwoofer because they're out there, right? Or you could build your own for cheaper. But one thing that SVS does that I really like is they have what they call their customer bill of rights, and that includes a 45-day in-home risk-free trial. So you buy the subwoofer, they ship it to you for free, and if you decide you don't like it, you can return it and they will ship it back to themselves for free. I like that. It also comes with a 5-year unconditional warranty and many other benefits. And so basically I think it's a really good value, and I do recommend SVS subwoofers to people that ask me, mainly because of some of those perks. So I've got to give it a 4.5 out of 5 for value. So let's wrap this up. If you are a music lover looking for a nice compact 12-inch subwoofer, I highly recommend the SB-1000. It sounds great with music. It does well with movies, but it sounds great with music. So I've got to hand it to SVS. They've got a great little subwoofer here. You also get that 5-year unconditional warranty along with the other things in the customer bill of rights from SVS, and that is definitely a plus. It looks great in the gloss black surface finish, and I just like it. It's nice and compact. I like it. So again, I highly recommend it. If you want to purchase the SB-1000, the PB-1000, or anything else from SVS, use those links in the description below. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. We'll talk to you next time.